kids! Welcome back to our final lesson from Teach Us to Pray as we look at Matthew chapter 6 verse 13, which says, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." This verse talks about temptation, and temptation is a tool that our enemy, Satan, uses to try to trap us in sin. And today we're going to look at how we can handle temptation and stay away from sin.
Stay tuned to watch the intro video.
Hey everyone, it's me, Peyton, and it's time to get back into our series called Teach Us to Pray. Oh look, an apple. I wonder who left it here. I better pick it up.
Haha, I caught you in my trap.
Why did you do that?
You took the bait and now you're in my trap.
Ha ha, now let me out of here. I have a video to shoot.
Say please.
Let me out of here now!
Uh-oh.
I can't believe my brother did that to me, but it kind of reminds me of the part of the Lord's Prayer that we are learning about today.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Remember how my brother got me into that trap? He said that apple was bait. Well, temptation is the bait for the trap of sin. The devil lays temptation all around us to make us fall into the trap of sin.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that devil, he is a bad, bad dude. He's downright naughty.
He sure is. The devil is the enemy of our souls. He wants us to sin more than anything else. That's why we should pray every single day for God to help us not to fall into the trap of sin. There are a lot of things Satan tries to tempt us with. Have you ever been to the store and you didn't have enough money to buy a piece of candy? Sometimes Satan puts temptation in front of us to try and make us steal things that don't belong to us. Or have you ever been over at a friend's house for a slumber party? Their parents are in bed and somebody starts to play a movie that you know you're not supposed to see. You're tempted to watch it, but it's totally not good for you. Or you're in class trying to take a test and you're sitting by the smartest girl in class. It wouldn't take anything just to lean over and look at her answers. Well, that's the devil trying to set out a trap of temptation for us to cheat on that test. That is temptation. We must pray that God would help us stay away from Satan's traps. If we ask, He'll deliver us from temptation and from evil. Well, it's time for you to get into your lesson today as you learn about the Lord's Prayer and avoiding temptation. This is Peyton reminding you, you can pray every single day. See ya!
Up next, Big Way and What You Gotta Know.
What you gotta know? What you gotta know? What you gotta know? What you gotta know?
Hey there kids, I'm Big Ray, and I'm here to tell you what you gotta know. Today, we are learning about how to handle temptation. So anytime today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them, I need God's help to avoid temptation. Satan tries to trick you by telling you all sorts of stuff about sin. He tells you stuff like, it'll be fun, it won't hurt you, God won't mind. But that guy lies more than Pinocchio. He, in fact, is the father of lies. Don't you listen to a word he says. Instead, you gotta trust God and follow Him. Run from temptation. You'll be a lot better off. So anytime today you hear somebody ask you what you gotta know, you tell them, I need God's help to avoid temptation. And that right there is what you gotta know. This is Big Ray, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
What you gotta know?
Thanks for your help, kids, and thanks to Peyton and Big Ray. Our Bible story today comes from Genesis chapter 1 through 3, which many of you know is the story of creation, when God created a perfect and beautiful place full of plants and animals, and then His most precious creation, man and woman. God gave Adam and Eve one rule. You can eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. All Adam and Eve needed to do was obey God, and he promised to provide for them and to protect them. Just like Satan tempts us, he tempted Adam and Eve. He took on the form of a serpent and came to Eve and said, "Did God say you can't eat any fruit in the garden?" And Eve listened to the lies of Satan, and she ate the fruit from the tree. And then, to make things worse, she gave some of that fruit to Adam. And Adam gave in to temptation, and he ate from the forbidden fruit as well. Just like Satan lied to Adam and Eve, he lies to us today. He tries his very best to deceive us into disobeying God and falling into sin. Today, we're going to learn how to handle temptation in our own lives. We're going to learn how not to fall into Satan's trap of temptation. As we continue to learn from Matthew chapter 6, verse 13, which is the part of the Lord's Prayer where we ask God to keep us free from temptation. Remember that temptation is a tool that our enemy, the devil, uses to try to trap us in sin. Have you ever been trapped? It's a pretty scary feeling to be trapped. When we're trapped, we feel helpless. We feel like we can't get out, and we feel like all is lost. And that's what it feels like when we fall into sin, because sin is a trap. Sin is a trap that the devil tries to get us to fall into, and he knows that if he can get us into sin, we will be trapped. To get us into the trap of sin, Satan uses something called temptation. Not only does the devil want to trap us, but he knows how to trap us. He knows that we are only human, and he's been watching us our whole lives, and he knows our weaknesses. He's seen when we've messed up before, and he knows how to trap us in sin. Maybe your weakness is lying. Maybe because you want people to think you're cool, you make up lies to tell about yourself. Maybe your weakness is watching bad stuff on TV. Maybe your weakness is hanging around with the wrong crowd. Whatever your weakness is, the devil will use it as temptation and try to trap you into sin. When we're being tempted to sin by the devil, what should we do? That's right. We should run as fast as we can. We can avoid falling into the trap of sin. That is why we are learning this part of the Lord's Prayer. We must pray that God will lead us away from the trap of sin. We must pray every day that God will lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Then pray like this. My Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we've forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Matthew 6, 9-13.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.